All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our weekly Team Passion call. We are very, very excited to have Isabelle here share with us all things Shakeology, Ultimate Reset, Daily Sunshine, all the good stuff that she has to share with us. I have had the pleasure to listen to Isabelle for the past 8 years. I've been a coach for 8 years now this month. So yes. So at all the summits, at just national wake-up calls, just lots of calls, and I just love hearing your knowledge and your story. I love hearing your story of how it all kind of began, and your story of telling Carl no for a little bit, and just how this whole thing works. So I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Well, really, it's over to you because I'm here to answer your questions. I didn't look at them since yesterday.
Okay.
But you had some questions, and it felt like they could all be like one big monologue on my end. But I'll try to make sure to hit every note that you sent me so I can really give you, it really isn't about me and what I want to talk about. It's about what you need to hear from me. Mm-hmm. So I used to just sort of say, okay, I'll take it over and babble. But then people still had questions, and then I had no more time. So I really want to honor the question you sent me. And sometimes they feel like they overlap on each other.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll be able to answer it in one answer, as opposed to sort of saying, oh, I've already said that. But I really want to follow what you sent me.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. So my glasses. You said sharing with us the production process from choosing the ingredients to drying and getting into the bag. So I've noticed that when we get very technical, we lose our coaches because they can't repeat that stuff. I don't need this now. They can't repeat that stuff, and they get lost in the answer with the people that are reaching out to them to find out about Shakeology or any other product. So it's a little bit like this. In the business in general, a lot of companies, not necessarily because they're like evil or anything like that, trust is given, and sometimes it should be checked upon because the business have changed a whole lot from decades ago. So what's happening when you buy ingredients is very often the company, the people in charge of buying are buyers. So let's say Mike and our gang here at Beachbody would make a phone call to a certain supplier or a vendor and say, hey, do you have organic moringa? And they would say yes, and then they would talk about the quality a little bit, I hope, and they would agree on a price, and usually you have to make a deal for 1 to 2 years at least with companies, large size company, to make sure that your supplier can give you all that you need, especially when you have monthly delivery. And then you say, cool, and you have a contract. I'm just simplifying it a little bit, and there you go, you have your moringa. The challenge is, most of the time, whether it's out of ignorance on the vendor or supplier, or whether it's out of not really be that ethical, or not really understanding the importance of these specific points concerning quality and potency and purity and cleanliness, you won't know really what you're getting. The only way to know, because the vendor or supplier or farmers may not even know. Often they may do, and it doesn't really matter to them for whatever reason. But we're not here to claim that everybody's evil out there. Often we do things out of ignorance, and we know that because as you age and as you evolve and as you grow older, you realize that, oh my God, the stuff I did in relationships with other individuals, I would never do that anymore. I understand how much it can pain and hurt someone else because you've lived and you've learned, right? So it's a little bit like that in that business as well. So I think that very often we're very quick to point the finger and criticize, although I must say that the business is now very corrupt. Also, it is corrupt in a way because our soil and our air and our water is so polluted by pesticide, herbicide, GMO ingredients, that it's extremely challenging to actually know what you've got. Because even if you have an organic farm, if it's a small place and there's other GMO area in the areas, your soil may not be that clean. Or if you're super clean soil, but you don't realize that your water may be very dirty. Or the air, if you're growing things that are open pods, they absorb the intense, I don't know the exact number of pollutants. I might do a video on that, how much toxicity is in the air, chemicals that we breathe in every day. Then they are absorbed by those open pods, ingredients, plants, and then you ingest those. So your soil may be organic, you may be able to certify it that way, but you still don't have something that's considered organic. The only way to know is by testing the soil, so you know what you've got there, what your plant is growing into. Testing once it's cut and about to be shipped to make sure that what you've got is really what you desire to make a deal upon. Then testing again when it arrives at the airport, so that nothing has been changed in between, which happens more often than we wish it to be, meaning it can be cut with maltodextrin. That way they can give you less for the same price. On and on it goes. So testing again, then you quarantine to make sure that nothing that was not detectable at the time in the quarantine state left there for several months. You then find out if anything is growing out of it, semolina or things that you don't want. And then you test again after the quarantine, and then you know what you've got. And then we test again in the bags. The very bags that you get and you receive, it's been tested. So the only way to know that you are buying all that you want from plants and none of the stuff you don't want on these plants through the air, water, soil, or processing. So the reason also why you test is that if the processing is done in a way that's too harsh, or with chemicals or too high heat temperature, the elements, the constituents, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, vitamins, minerals that you want in these ingredients are not dead or polluted. So you test again. The only way to do that is to have a team that has been greatly trained, has had a lot of experiences knowing what to look for, and you have the money to pay for it, which is what sometimes the mom and pops don't have the money to do that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't even know the level of the corruption that exists out there. So, I forgot what the question was.
The production process from choosing the ingredients.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So that's the process that we go through with 67 plus ingredients in each bag all around the world. So that means we have to have people travel there, do all these tests in order to make sure that what we say you've got is in each and every bag you receive. That costs money. I think there was a question about money. That's my answer. That is not cheap. This is why, for me, again, not pointing the finger, but I am part of this company. I co-created these products, and I know for a fact that we are doing due diligence, as my head of R&D is always saying, on our product lines. If you have a product that sells for $22.99 a bag for a month, I personally do not know how they're doing that at such a cheap price. I don't know. I can be told it's possible. It doesn't matter. All I know that we can't. So there you go. This is the answer to your pricing, and this is the answer to the processing, which is one and the same. This is why, to me, and you said you were at the summit, this sort of physicality of what it feels like to drink Shakeology, this that I did on stage, was to physicalize what happens cellularly when you drink the shake. you actually are ingesting the very element of nature that your body was designed to need and absorb, process, and utilize. That is what your cells need. We are made of the same elements of the planet Earth. So it is very important that the synergy, the complexity of this bag, this little scoop of powder, matches the complexity of the incredible human machine that we are, the biological machine. It's a huge difference between a real machine and us. We are barely understanding and discovering the intricacies and the magic of all the processes that are happening cellularly by itself. We don't know who was the technician who's capable of creating all these things that it's doing every day, but it's incredible, and therefore it requires good energy to feed it so it can do all these things for us. This is why eating well, this is why hopefully getting a daily dose of dense nutrition for each one of us is so crucial. Exercising, moving, breathing, trying to remain calm. All these things are vital and necessary to repeat, like brushing your teeth, on a daily basis. It is what your body needs.
Yes, that's one of the things I think a lot of people forget too. Like, people will, I'll just drink it on the weekdays and then take off on the weekends. It's like, how can you not feel that goodness every day? I can't imagine going a day without it. Like in 8 years, like I just, I mean, I have sporadically, like if I forgot it on vacation or whatever, but it's just knowing what it's doing for you every day. And I think one of the hardest things as us coaches is we can share a before and after of 80-day obsession or P90X, and they can see it, but people can't see this. And so I think that's one of the challenges that we have as coaches, why we have to be so knowledgeable about what is in this thing so that we can share that knowledge and share that value, because you can't see it, you have to feel it.
Yes, and then what's very important to do, and I think that has to know, and I think that has to do with something that's very dear to me, is that is connected to the objectification of the bodies. So we think objectifying ourselves, we think more of, being sexualized and all these things, or not being heard for what's inside us, right? But even when we exercise for health, right, we are, so often we fool ourselves. What we really want is to look hot and sexy. Nothing wrong with that. But really, anybody, and you know my story, most of you, anybody who has lost their ability to be healthy and to take care of themselves, to function, there is nothing scarier than that. And there's nothing more precious than that. Anyone who has a child, seeing your child sick, not functioning to the best of its capacity, there is nothing more devastating than watching your child not be well. And so these moments for me are reminders that health has nothing to do with being hot and sexy and weighing 110 and wearing a size 3 or whatever are being bombarded in our brain nowadays. When I look at Beachbody platform, I couldn't care less what you look like. What I care is that you're solid, you're healthy, you have a strong foundation to live a good life. And that's the message we were trying to give this summit. I think it's been lost. I love these pageant, blah, blah, blah. And I love you wear a tight spandex now. I love that you don't feel shame. I wish you didn't feel it before anyway, but that you don't feel shameful being in a bathing suit. All that is great. But your health is fundamental to you being able to enjoy this life, to be able to care for your kids. So when we think Shakeology, when I created Shakeology, was not so hoping that you could look hot and sexy, was you would not even be able to hike a mountain, get into your car, run to your child who needs your help, carry them and rock them for hours and hours, be up for 5 nights in a row because they're sick. If you are not well, you will not be able to accomplish these things. If you are not well nourished, with dense nutrition, cellular nutrition, you will not be able to do 80-day obsession. End of story. So nutrition, I would say spirit, presence, remembering that you are God, remembering that you are spirit first, is something that's not part of the Beachbody community technically, but that's my number one. But my number two is nutrition. Cellular nutrition is crucial to anything else. You will not get that hot body, or you'll get it, but I call it at all cost. You will get it, but you will not be supplying the raw elements that your bodies need in order to perform the 80-day obsession or the P90X or the hip hop, whatever programs you like. You will not be able to do it without a cost. Whether you feel it the first year or the second year or the third year, there will be a cost if you are not replenishing your body on a daily basis, several times a day. Water, joy, if you don't have these things every day, it will cost you. So nutrition, cellular dense nutrition is it, beside cultivating your spirit, remembering that you are not your thighs and your mouth and your skin, remembering that you are God, you are spirit, and feeding that God-made body that is energy, that requires the same energy of these foods, these elements of the earth, is crucial. So to me, that's it. I am not a 4-sentence quick bite thing. This is not me. If you want that, you have to go to Carl. He's fantastic at that, summarizing. But I want to go deep, and I want to mean it. So I need a lot of words for me to get there. So this is why, to me, Shake is crucial. The fact that it's always been second and third at the community is something I was like my dog. You know, when dogs don't understand, you're like, how come they don't? I don't understand. Because if I don't feel my nutrition on point, I can't deliver. End of story. So this is my contribution with Darren and the team of one place where you can get deep, dense nutrition so that you can perform all these programs or live well with all the stresses of life, the very things that I mentioned on the summit stage. It is not a sell pitch. I don't do pitch. I don't sell. I don't even know what it's like. And I think Carl likes that about me. But I do only what I believe is true, what I have experienced myself, what I've seen helped others, what makes complete sense to my heart and my mind together, not separate. Therefore, this is why I always connect with spirit, because I think if you're vast and expanded and connected to that joyful, peaceful, kind spirit, you can eat cat food and you'll do pretty good. But the reverse wouldn't be true. So this is why I connect those two all the time, but that's not the focus, because it's a very personal thing on this platform. But the food is a thing that we all know. And so it is so challenging. Through creating the Shake, Darren and I and the team have discovered the challenges to get this pure quality, this aliveness in those ingredients. Guys, if we could express how hard it is nowadays, it is not a done deal. It's a lot of work and tenacity and intent and tools. So through that, I realized the truthfulness of your salad now is not what your salads used to be decades ago. Things have changed drastically. So it is sad. At the same time, you know, you don't do that. You have to be clear. I think this is why Carl went all the way on the stage with us this summit, because we were saying, well, it's a little intense. You know, me, I'm always too intense. I'm always being told to lighten up. But I find my light in that intensity, because I know that if I confront the reality of life, I can then create actions that are appropriate to help myself and others appropriately. If I do that and pretend, there's nothing I can do. So I'm always the one being told to lighten up because I go too hard. But Carl said, no, I think it's time to say it like it is because people don't get it, as you just said. So, so nutrition first, really. Without it, nothing. Think of your child in your belly. It feeds off what we eat, and we're being told how important it is to eat well during these 9 months. Now, it's important prior to that as well for yourself, but also to have a body that's already healthy to create life for the child. But we are being told, eat very well, take care of yourself very well through these 9 months, and then you give birth, and then you breastfeed if you can, hopefully, and then your milk has to be potent because your body will, if it doesn't have what it takes to feed that child the good stuff, then that child is paying the price as well. So it's always there. It's always obvious. We are stating the obvious, and we are trying to provide our way of creating deep and dense nutrition for everyone in a way that is a delivery system that is not compromised and that is also delicious. So it's fun to drink that shake so you can look forward to it. Another way to bring pleasure to your senses, smell, taste, look, it's important. So that's my answer, and I hope that it makes sense to all of you, because it's crucial to understand that it's about living a healthy life, which is no joke.
Yeah. I think too, someone just mentioned like different ingredients that were added this year or last year, and the sugar.
Matcha, yes.
Yeah, and I think if you could just talk a little bit about that, like, because in the 8 years the formula has changed quite a few times in the different stuff, and I know you have said before that some of the ingredients aren't as potent as they once were, like the source, or things.
There are several things happening concerning the change. So first of all, it's something that I demanded of Carl. I said, don't make me static. This is not Nestle Quick. Don't create a product and then it's not, chocolate bar that you count on the taste and all that. This is a product that I need the freedom, and Darren also wanted that when I met Darren, but almost everything I say, Darren agreed, and we are so in sync together about all these things. It's a miracle we met each other. So we wanted the flexibility to keep the purity and the potency because we knew it was going to be challenging. So let's say for a while, we got maca from one supplier or vendor, and it was fantastic. We test, it's all good, and then suddenly after a year and a half, the quality went way down. We don't want to be stuck. Oh, well, we said it was maca in it. We're stuck. We have to have maca. And then you have a pure quality maca because of obligation, technical written obligation, which is not delivering the true obligation, which is potent, healthy nutrients, aliveness, food that your body requires to be healthy. So suddenly I'm delivering something that is not any of that for the name of maca on the bags. So I did not want to be limited to that, neither did Darren. And Carl, of course, was all for that, and our team as well. So therefore, we have the freedom and the ability, because of our knowing and our testing system, we know when something suddenly is not all that it's cracked up to be. Or suddenly the crops didn't pan out the way they expected it. They don't have enough of whatever. Or something on the market that was not, didn't have, let's say, the technical ability to process in a way that was edible for us, or did not destroy its potency. So let's say we wanted that. Like we love algae-based ingredients, Darren and I. We still cannot get that in the shake for all sorts of different reasons, including the ones I'm discussing. We would love that, but as of now, we can't. One day, this particular, let's say maca again, this is just example, guys, by the way. This is not what's happening. So let's say the maca is not good or they don't have enough. And at some point, we ran into that. For all sorts of wild events, there was almost no maca left. So, but let's say it's almost done or the quality is down, but suddenly algae-based products are capable to be processed in a way that delivers good quality, good potency. We're like, well, let's let go of that maca that's not potent anymore, and let's now introduce the algae. Let's also analyze, what do we get? What constituents do we get from maca? What other food or 2 food or 3 food could deliver these constituents as well? So we'll have the algae-based ingredients that we wanted for 5 years, let's say, and we'll add a little bit of these 2 elements that creates almost the same thing. It's never quite the same, of the maca, so that the constituents on the back, that doesn't change. But nature delivers many different kind of foods to create these constituents. We're not stuck with one food, one apple, the only place to get an antioxidant. There's many places to get antioxidants. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So this is why we want to be able to change, because wonderful discoveries, wonderful technology advances, or terrible events with some countries may require us to be more flexible to deliver these same constituents every month to your door. That is why. Tell me if I'm not clear.
No, very clear. Can you talk a little bit, I know we only have a few more minutes, but can you talk a little bit to the boosts and adding in the power greens and the digestive health, and kind of adding in those boosts and what they do to enhance the Shakeology, and why you guys came up with those? And
well, several reasons, but they all come back to the same truth, which is, let's say, like, I don't drink, but I know when we go on vacation, Carl loves his margaritas, right? So, and he's very happy to have 0 green on that week, although now he's so good at it. But, on vacation, he wants to have a good time. But it annoys me, because your body doesn't know vacation good time. It just knows what it needs to function. So when we go, I'm giving you an example. When we go on vacation, first of all, when we go on vacation, this is when we absolutely bring all our stuff. Because that's the emergency. If everything else falls off the planet of the earth, or it's terrible food, we have that stuff. So I love it. So we have our Shakeology, we have all our boost. So when he drinks, or when he has 0 greens, 0 fiber in his food, I can add greens and fiber boosts in his shake, and that will compensate. If he really has really bad food, I will add 2-3 scoops of the greens and more fiber, sometimes on its own, because I'm trying to still keep the body what it needs to function on a daily basis well enough. So the energy boost, the focus boost, it's the same thing. You go to Kona Island, they have, I don't drink coffee, but they have amazing coffee there. So people may indulge more into more than 1 cup of coffee a day, because it's so good. Maybe you want to take a 2-week break when you come back from your vacation from caffeine, because it's kind of hard on your adrenals. And even with the oil and MTC oil and all that hip stuff, caffeine is caffeine. So the oil does help to slow down the absorption, but it's a type of caffeine. You may want to give it a break so you can have your focus. Or if you want to cut down on your coffee, have only your morning coffee, but you still need a boost in the afternoon, you want to have the focus in order to still have your boost, but not be, difficult on your system. To allow you to be your own best formulator, basically. Depending on your lifestyle, what's missing in a day-to-day basis, you can compensate with these boosts. I think they're invaluable, because nobody's perfect. And that allows you to not be perfect and still do something really good for yourself. And I use them all the time. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I had, before we went to Mexico for the Success Club trip, I don't do well. I do the bottled water. I try to be as careful as I can, but I don't do well. I have a very sensitive stomach. So I did the digestive health 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, like just to help, I don't know, do whatever it could to my system to not have the bad Mexican juju.
That's right. You can even, absolutely. And I buy turmeric separately, and I add that. I add spinach. Carl just discovered that. He's very excited, because he thought it was going to ruin the taste, but you don't taste it. So, So I add kale. I add, so it's your way of adding that, but it's done in a scoop, so it's easy to travel everywhere with it. And also, even if you don't have your shake, you can just put that in juice, in smoothies, like fruit smoothies. To me, that's too much sugar. My body freaks out. But whatever makes it work, add your greens and water with your fiber. At least you've got that. And you cannot overdose. Fiber, you have to be careful, right? Because if your system goes from no fiber to way too much, hello, it's going to smell bad and you might have some challenges. So you have to go progressively so your system gets used to having 25 to 35 milligrams of fibers a day, which is what we should have. Most of us barely get a third. I think it's even worse than that. So wait, I think I've answered that question, right?
Yes.
Let me check real quick. What's your favorite recipe? Okay, I'm done. Can you share a little bit about the boost? How do we share quality? Coaches suggest we share the stories. Okay, 4. I want to get the important stuff. As coaches, how would you best suggest we share our stories? Tell your stories. Tell it however you want to tell it. That's all I do. I talk about why I started the shake, how I was sick, what happened to me, how I discovered it, how fantastic I feel now. Share your stories. This is what Carl says. It's like however you share it. We're not making claims. I don't care about claims. There's claims everywhere. What matters is, does it work for you? What worked for you? That's not a claim. That's a fact. Speak about facts. How did it change your life? And the way you're going to tell your story is what's going to work, not the way I tell my story. Remember a little while ago when I said, I'm not called. Don't at me for sound bites, quick 1, 2, 3 bullet points, the 7 best way to. I suck at that. And the thing is, I don't want to be good at that. That's not who I am. I talk. I made a living of talking way before Beachbody. So that's me. That's how I talk. When people come to me for that, that's what they get. So be you. Be you. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be Tony. Don't try to be Autumn. Don't try to be Carl. Don't try to be me. Be you. Your best you. Your most truthful you. Your most excited you, because you are excited from deep, deep within because of your story, what happened to you, and share that. Share the truth. That's all we're asking. And I think that's a huge difference between some other place and what we do. We're not lying. These pre and post, as you all know, are very real. People work hard and they change not only their the way they eat, but their lifestyle, their way of thinking, their support. They're learning to be kind human being with each other as opposed to competing and being jealous and greedy. We are getting better. We are making more money by enhancing other people's physical, emotional, spiritual wealth. We need it all. So there's no shame. It's an amazing way of making a living. That is how I've made a living my whole life. And now I'm just doing on the platform. No difference. So there's no shame in promoting a shake that is as good as it is as good as it gets. And if it made you feel good, that's your truth. And there's no shame in doing that, because we all have to make a living. We all have to make money. I love the fact that you become your own CEO from an experience, a truth, something that really happened to you, and now you're sharing it. People have a choice to embark with you or not. That's totally okay too. You are here with us. Some people, it's not their platform. That's totally okay. Look at the world. We are having war and killing each other because we expect everybody to love the same God, have the same way of eating, the same way of praying, the same way of everything, of dressing. We are messing ourselves up of that sameness. Differences are fantastic. Somebody is not comfortable on our platform. That's totally okay. Let them be on their platform and don't vilify their platform. Let them be where they need to be. You are not always here. You're here now because it's right for you now. So that's it. It's so simple. It's so truthful. We are different, and let's enjoy our differences. This is why the platform has so many different stars and workout programs and different diets, different entrance way. whatever works for you, whether it's just to be mindset because you're not ready to embark on an exercise program, whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, or intense P90X, or obsession, 80-day obsession, or live for in between, whatever. We have so many because we understand that we are different, and that's all right. So enjoy those differences, be the best of you, share your story, be proud of it. And the price is, you know, people are so shameful about money. The price to me is never just about the shake. We have given you the same explanation for almost 10 years. It's the same explanation. Somehow it doesn't go in. So I know it's not because we don't say it. It's because we all have a very strange relationship to money. It's been corrupt for hundreds of years. We've been had many, many times. So it is very challenging for most of us to have a friendly relationship with money. And I love Carl for establishing a platform where you can create a friendly relationship with your body, with who you are, with your challenges, with your expansion, and with your money. It's all about being at peace with it all. So please take that, be proud, and run with it.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you. And I think that, I had questions about ingredients and stuff like that, but I think you just answered the question of we don't need to know all the ingredients. We don't need to understand it like you and Darren.
Or if you do, dear ones, Google every single one of them. I don't have a favorite, FYI. I don't. I know Darren does. I don't. I love them all. I want them all. And I enjoyed them all. And they all have amazing properties. Google it is so much more powerful than having me and Darren repeat it over and over again. We have. And people somehow still don't know. Darren and I don't get it. But we'll keep showing up here and saying it. But Google it. Check out each and every ingredient. You will be amazed of all that it does, all that it is. That's nature at its best. So that's what matters. What I prefer doesn't matter. I'll share it gladly, but it doesn't matter. But I like avocado, almond milk with a bit of coconut water, coconut butter, my fiber boost, my green boost, a little bit of spinach, and that's my favorite mix. With daily sunshine, I like to keep it clean. For some reason, I like it clean, or avocado, or a boost, or a little bit of banana to make it thicker even. Always fiber in it, especially for my kid. So there.
I love it. We can all be our own little concoctors of how.
Oh God, go to town with it.
Yes, I know we do get afraid. I get so hung up on my one recipe.
No, yes, exactly. Try it all, try it out. And I know that I'm not very knowledgeable on our website, but I know there's tons of recipes there from everyone. Please take advantage of it. Almond butter is great. Peanut butter, if it's organic, non-GMO, if you like it, go for it. There's so many things you can put in there that makes it so yummy. Mixing flavors is fantastic. I do vanilla with a 2/3 vanilla with 1/3 of chocolate, vegan, and I love that flavor. So you can have fun doing that as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
You're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Say thank you. Well, you're all muted.
Well, everyone.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Hi, I just saw your face. Hello, everybody. This is fun. I don't see anybody. And at the end, I get it. Yay. So, all right. I hope I was helpful.
Sure.
Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for caring about yourself and allowing us to create a community that's helping a big, big problem out there. We all know it's true. You can Google that as well. So be well.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 All right, I don't want to mess it up and shut it off. I'm panicking that it's not gonna record. All right. So, and does anyone want to chat about anything? Was that good? I know you probably all hopping off, but I couldn't follow your chat box because I was trying to concentrate. But Anything anyone want to say?
That was the best call ever. I don't know if you can hear me, but that was the best call ever.
Good. Awesome.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I'm so glad we got to have her on. Nicole, you got Isabelle on the call with us.
Yep, we got Darren in a couple weeks. We got Joel next week and Darren the end of the month. So.
Yeah, she has such passion. I just totally admire and love watching Isabelle talk about these things. You can just see it bursting out of her eyes, you know.
Yep, for sure.
Times I've never heard her speak, and she's so amazing.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and I mean, I think, you know, everything, there were like 6 or 7 questions we kind of all had, but she's right. She answered it all in just that whole 30 minutes with sharing. I think it just will help us boost our confidence that what we have is the best, and we don't have to defend it. Like we just have to share it, and we just have to share what works for us, and the same in anything. And it's funny because Mark and I have been talking a lot. You know, he's like, what worked for us 8 years ago? We only sold Shakeology. We have to get back to Shakeology first. I'm like, I know we do. Like we just, and like I said, it's so hard because there isn't a before and after, and that's what people want. And so it takes a while for them to get to where we are, where, like she said, when we ingest that shake every day, like you guys, I can feel it too. Like whenever she said that at Summit, I was like, oh my gosh, I can totally feel everything going through my body as I sip that shake every day. Like if I'm a little nauseous or I'm a little tired or I'm a little anything, like if I'm off, as soon as I have my shake, I'm like, okay, I'm good again. Like it's like it's magic, right? But we know what it is. It's 70 like pure ingredients that are just the quality and the things that they go through. Like, you know, she didn't even get into the fact that they've shared it before. You know, the FDA, when they share, like if you look at a cereal box or something and you look at all the ingredients, they don't even have to say everything that's in it. I forget what the percentage is, but like the rules are like they only have to say like 95% or something. I may be making that up, but it's something like that. They could leave out some things that they're putting in there that we don't even know what we're, like she said, they test at every stage of the process and the quality, and make it right when it gets in that bag, they test it again to make sure that the quality is there, which again is why it's $130 a bag. And it's amazing that the price hasn't gone up in 10 years. Like it went up a little bit, like $5 or $6 or something at one point. But you know, for what they do and the teams that they have, it's not that much money for what they do to make sure we're getting the highest quality of all of the ingredients and shifting as they need to, because the potency of an ingredient wasn't as good anymore. So yeah, good stuff. We can't hear you. I don't know who that is. A little quiet. All right. Well, that was a fun night. We had the business opportunity, then we had this, and yeah, all good stuff. So let's just get out there and she's right. Like we've got to get back to Shakeology first. Like yes, Lift 4, yes, it's amazing, but people have got to get on the Shakeology too, and the long term and effects of it is just amazing. And share your story more and more and more. All right, guys, good night. I will hit this recording so that those who couldn't join us got on, but thank you for everyone who could join us. We did have 52 people on the call at one point, so good stuff. All right, good night, guys.
Thank you.